Hello, work wives. Welcome back to another episode of Dear Work Wives. I'm here with Emily.
Hello. Hey, work wife.
Hello. We're gonna talk about a few stories.
We got some good ones today.
Yeah. Give us some advice.
Have a good vent session.
We
My
need a good
favorite.
session.
Yeah.
What's going on? We're like so close to Taylor. So that means we're so close to being in person. For those
I
of you who
know.
don't know, Emily and I do not record together in person because we live on opposite sides of
The continent.
the continent. I was
Is
like,
it?
not
Kind of.
country.
We live very far away from each other. I live in
Mary's
Canada.
calling me, but I'm not going to answer.
Who's calling you?
Mary.
Oh, hi, Mary.
Hi, we're recording a podcast. Talk to
Yeah.
you later.
Talk to you later. What's going on? Yeah, just prepping to, it's my husband's birthday in 2 days. So, and
Oh,
then
what are
it's
you guys
Easter.
doing?
We're going to see his family. They live 3 hours away from us. Then we're doing like getting together with his friends. He still has friends from like elementary school.
That's
Like
wild to me. It's always wild to me because I don't have any friends from like that age.
me neither. Like this solid crew of 5 guys who are still besties from elementary
Wow.
school. It's really
Wow,
cool.
wow,
I want
wow.
that for my kids because it's so cool.
Yeah.
They all live in the same city and we live here. So sometimes I feel like we miss out. If we lived there, it would be so great, but they're all still tight with us. But I wish we lived there
Yeah.
because the dynamics are so fun to have friends from that age.
So does he like that's the town he grew up in with all
Yes.
of them? Okay, so
Yes.
that makes a lot of sense. Like I had a growing up where I moved a lot, and so I feel like that's why I don't have like a lot of these solid, long, lifelong friendships, is
Yeah.
because like I lived with my single mom for a while, and so we moved so much, and then I moved with my dad, so I moved to like a completely different town. So
Yeah.
I don't have any lifelong friends like James. That's so cool.
It's super cool. I don't have it either. I moved schools like so many times that like you just
Yeah,
at that age you just don't stay in touch.
right. I mean, you didn't have cell phones back in the day. So
No. Not that my kids have
I was
cell
like,
phones
when are you going to give
now.
your kids cell phones? Because
Never
it's a
if
real
I can
hot
help it.
topic. I know.
I think we've agreed high school is when they will be allowed to have a phone, but it will be calling and texting only.
Yeah, like a jitterbug, like old person phone.
Yes. And that's what I had when I started high school because I had to take the city bus to school. So it was a safety thing for
Yeah,
my parents. And I was fine. I mean, again, that's all that phones were back then.
right.
But no, they will have a phone for safety in high school and to text and call their friends because we don't have a landline. I understand that they need
Right,
a
right.
way to
To
connect.
communicate. Yeah.
Yeah. But they will not be getting a smartphone for a long time. And Lila in particular is not thrilled
Happy
about
about
that.
that.
But she'll deal.
Yeah, I was at a little birthday party last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and um Tyler, my husband, was talking to one of the other parents who is also a teacher, and he teaches like in the public school system and teaches fifth grade, and he said that like all of them have phones and it's
Yeah,
really really bad, and I'm like, what? And
I
the
know.
teachers will give them like use their phones as a reward, like you get a like if you do all these things you get a 10-minute phone break. I'm like, what?
What?
Like, no, not happening.
No. Lila's
No
in a
judgment to those that do it, but like I just can't, I just don't want our girls to like, it's just so toxic. Like the bully, he said that they like bully each other obviously on like
all the
social
time.
media and on their
Snapchat.
phones, and I
Yeah.
just want to
Yeah.
protect them as long as I can from all of that. Never
Yeah.
mind like, I mean, I know what I used to do in like chat
Oh my
rooms,
gosh. We've talked about
and
this. ASL.
yeah, and like that's it's a million times worse nowadays.
Yeah.
So just want to protect
Yeah.
them.
She's in grade 4, but she's in a 4 or 5 split. So some of the grade 5s have phones and they have TikTok and Snapchat
Oh my
and
gosh,
I've
no.
told her like you will not be getting social media for as long as I can possibly like
Yeah,
keep you off of it. And she's always, well, why do you have it? I'm like, because I grew up at an age when we didn't know, and I'm literally addicted. And I
Yeah.
want better for you.
And like you didn't have it at her age, because we
No.
didn't have that. But like mommy's an adult now. And when you're an adult, you can make a choice if you
Right.
want to put that on the internet or whatever.
But we know better now than we did. I mean,
Totally.
there's so many documentaries from the creators of these apps who talk about like if they could go back in time, how they would change everything.
Right.
So I'm just like, this is one of the I saw, like, my first job is to protect you as a child. My second job is to make you happy. So the first thing I'm going to do is protect you.
Yeah, even though this is not going to make you happy. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah,
I can't. But
no,
what can you do?
I don't know
So
how we got there, but no.
Yeah, that's where we are. But that's what we're doing this weekend. We're going to see family.
Oh yeah.
And then it's Easter. And
Easter.
then next week,
You gonna do an egg hunt? Do they do that?
Yes. I think we're gonna do a family one. And then I saw on Monday there's one at the community center where the kids take their swimming lessons. So I might take them to that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Those are always like terrifying and vicious though.
The kids are I thought about taking Kit to one last year, and then like some of my local mom friends went to a different one and they were like, it was like brutal. Like the big kids are like aggressive.
Yeah.
And the little kids don't get anything because the big kids just run and like run them over. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not interested.
Yeah. And Lila is like, she's 9. So I just feel like maybe I just don't, I feel like maybe I could do something else and let the other community members have that one.
Yeah. Actually, we did one last year at like Coco was like newborn status
like
at that time.
A minute old.
Yeah, she was like a minute old, and we did one for Kit at like this record store, which was cute. But it was very aggressive, and I thought I was going to get trampled like walking in the door because they had like the doors closed, and then they were going to like open them at one time, and they were like all the little kids up front so that the little kids would go first. But I'm like,
no, they're going to get
if all the big kids are going to trample us from behind.
Yeah, no.
And they were like stealing eggs like right out of Kit's hands. I was like, come on, losers. Like she's 2. Like, let her have an egg.
My sister-in-law's neighborhood did one where the kids had to find like 5 eggs or 10 eggs or something like that. And then they brought it to the coordinator and traded those in for the prize.
Oh, that's good.
And then everyone got the same little goodie bag regardless. So I felt like that was the way to do it. I'm like, that's so smart.
Yeah.
And they actually hid the eggs and not just like a field full of eggs.
Full of eggs.
So,
yeah, the record store, they hid them.
Yeah.
So we were able to like, find a few, but it was every man for himself, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Those kids did not care about my cute little toddler. They were like,
no, not when candy's involved.
Yeah.
Which like, I get it. You know how deep my love for candy runs.
Yeah, I get it.
What about you this weekend? Easter for you too.
Yeah, Easter.
Yeah.
Obviously this is being published after Easter, but
yeah,
we will do like an egg hunt or something in the yard. She's been asking like every day if the Easter bunny hid the eggs yet in the yard, and I'm like, not yet, it's on Sunday. So she's like very excited for Sunday.
Perfect.
Sunday. And then I do like Easter baskets for them. I don't know if you do that.
We do.
So, yeah. So I got some stuff and they'll get Easter baskets, and Kit keeps telling me, don't forget, Coco needs I hope the Easter bunny doesn't forget Coco. Will Coco get an Easter basket? I'm like, I guarantee the Easter bunny will not forget Coco.
Yeah.
She loves her little sister so much.
So cute.
She's like making sure no one forgets about her.
Yeah.
And Mary, which is my mom, actually sent this very large inflatable Easter bunny for our front yard. I'll have to take a picture.
Oh, yes.
So we have to put that up today because the girls are obsessed. But what else?
I mean, you're gonna have some house guests next week, so.
Oh yeah, I have some house guests. Like Emily is coming.
Yay!
And Dee, if you're a Run Like Clockwork listener, Dee from our Run Like Clockwork team, who's been one of my longer lifetime friends.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I think we're going on like 16 years or something, maybe a little, maybe 12 or 13, something like that. It's a long time.
Yeah. Third of your life.
She'll be coming. Yep.
Team Taylor.
Team Taylor. We're going to see Taylor. That's it. You know?
It's coming out of the group chat into reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My toddler has something called selective mutism, which you know, and we've been like going to therapy for that. And yesterday her teacher told me that she not only like sat on the Easter Bunny's lap, so they had like an Easter Bunny like come to their school, which like that's a very big deal. Like she
Huge.
does not do well in like social situations.
No.
It's like an anxiety based disorder for like, and so she gets like a lot of anxiety. She doesn't talk. She has not talked like at school to her teachers in like a year. She never has talked to them or her friends. So, and even family members, or Emily knows, like Emily's been around her multiple times. She will not like talk to her. She might gesture, but she just gets,
she might
like
smile or nod, but yeah.
Yeah. But we've been going to therapy for that, and she's making lots of progress, and already even just in a few weeks. And her teacher said, she was like, Kit is not actually a shy kid. Like Kit's not shy underneath this. And they had a magic show, an Easter magic show, and she stood up in front of the class and like helped the magician, you know, like the magician will like bring people up, and it was really cute. So that's like a big thing that's going on in our life, is I feel, you know, it's taking a lot of emotional energy to pour into that. But also like we take her every Tuesday for therapy, and it's like it's an hour away, so it takes up our whole afternoon. But it's nice to see that like she's making progress, and she's been like talking to her teachers a little bit more, which is she's been talking to them, which is great. And she talks to they like have some extracurriculars at school that we can sign up for, and she's signed up in like soccer and gymnastics, and she always talks about this Coach Stu is like the soccer coach. And she always talks about Coach Stu. And yesterday her teacher was like, she talks to Coach Stu like full sentences, like she loves Coach Stu. I'm like, okay so random like who you pick, but funny. I've never met him, so I wish I could like meet him just like, to know what he's like. Yeah, what is it about Coach Stu that she just like clearly feels very comfortable around?
Amazing. So cute. Maybe she'll talk to me this time.
I think there's a big chance.
Lila did pick out something specific for her, so I'm hopeful that I can bribe my way in.
Yeah, that's always helpful, you know?
Yeah.
All right, should we get to some stories?
We've got 3 good ones today.
Okay, cool. Okay. You want to start, or you want
me to? I'll dive in. Okay.
All right.
This is from Jamaican Me Crazy, and they just need to vent. My boss was selected to go on the top performers vacation paid for by the company. He definitely deserved it, and I'm so happy he got to go because his wife is pregnant with their 3rd, and it was like a baby moon for them too. But he told me he did have to work while he was on the trip. Like, what the fuck? Or WTF if you want to pretend I didn't just say the F word.
That's
so it's a company trip.
It's like a reward trip. It's not like a working trip.
Right. It's a reward trip that he was given by work for being an incredible employee, and they're making him work while on the trip. Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah. It's like, why send him on the trip then?
Why send him on it seems like more of an inconvenience to because even when I was talking about coming to visit you next week, I was like, I don't really want to bring my laptop. I don't need to bring my laptop, right? So, and that's me coming to your house. Never mind like, going to Jamaica with your pregnant wife.
Yeah.
That just seems awful.
Or like Disney World, and I'm like, oh, actually you have to work.
Just kidding.
I need you to like check in on these things, or I need you to
take a few calls. Like, no rope drop for you because I just don't think that. I mean, it speaks volumes to the
company culture. Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, what if he had gone on like a vacation that wasn't like paid for by the company? I wonder what their expectation of him would be then, you know, because I was actually at a different kid's birthday party last weekend, and
you're in it.
Yeah, all the kids' parties. I went to 3 birthday parties last weekend. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And Disney on Ice. So full
Mom of the
stack.
year.
I know, right? But like I was talking to this other mom and she's a lawyer at like a big law firm, and she took her kids to Disney, and then her law firm was like, we need you to like be here and like doing this work because like this big something was happening that they were big case and something was happening, and she's like, I'm literally at Disney World with my kids, like I can't.
I don't know
She's
if
like,
you
I'll
know
work
this,
like
but I'm in the
after.
happiest place on earth.
They
Like,
like literally wanted her to come back, come home, and she was like, no, my kids would kill me, like I'm not coming back, I'm at Disney World.
right.
But their expectation was like that she should drop everything and leave, even
No.
though it was like a vacation that she paid for to go with a plan.
Book some time off. Yeah.
Book time off. It's just like, what? These are just cultures that I just do not resonate with. Like when she was telling me that story, I'm like, F no, fuck no. You know, sorry for cursing again, but like I'd be out of there. And this is like 2023 Adrian, but
right.
2014 Adrian or 2013 Adrian
wouldn't have even booked the trip. You wouldn't have even booked the trip.
I wouldn't even have gone. I wouldn't even have considered leaving my work just in case something might happen. You know, I was like employee of the year, so I get it in terms of having that mindset. It's just so not me anymore, and so not something I'm willing to put up with, that it's very unrelatable. Like I just don't relate to how people continue to put up with that. And like I have like local mom friends that are in that type of corporate culture, and I'm just like, why don't you leave? But I know that it's not that easy.
It's not that easy, but like once you're out of it, it is. You're like, just don't put up with that. And they're like, I don't really have a choice. Like I've invested over a decade, 2 decades into this career. Like, you know,
I get it.
Total tangent, but this brings me, I have a question. What are your thoughts and feelings about PTO requests? Is it like, so I saw a TikTok today, and even one of my sister-in-laws has to deal with this, where the policy is like, you can put in your request, but like, don't you dare book anything until you get it approved, because we might not approve it, versus the other mindset that's like, PTO is me just like letting you know I'm not going to be there. Like, where do you fall on that line now
as an employer?
And I understand, like we have at Clockwork, like
blackout dates.
We do have blackout dates around launches for sure.
Yeah.
But that's like really it. And that also only really applies to, it doesn't even apply to the whole team, really.
Right.
There are definitely people who could take time off
a day or whatever. Yeah.
Right. During the launch period, if you know, and, but how do you, as an employer, how do you feel about that?
I feel like, just from like I kind of understand both perspectives, because if like there was something going on, then
like I can't change when my family vacation is, you know?
Yeah.
Like my like extended family vacation, like that's when it is, you know?
Right. To me, like in our culture, and like for me as like personally, I agree that like I'm just taking this, I'm just doing a service by following the policy and requesting it, but I'm like, I'm taking this time off, like I'm booking this before you, like I don't think you need to wait to be approved, otherwise you're not going to get like refunded for your trip that I'm not letting you go on now. Like I don't know, I'm not your mom, you know, like I'm
assuming
you're an
it's
adult.
Within like, you know, the policies, a lot of places have like you must give notice and all, like, you know.
Right. I think as long as it's within what the company has, like for us, like, oh, it's not, if it's not within those blackout dates or something, if that was, you know, important to the specific role that you be there. And you're, you know, doing the necessary coverage, then I don't care, you know, like usually people like, sometimes you'll still even do this. You're like, oh, can I have this day or whatever? And I'm like, yes. Why are you asking me? Like, just tell me I'm taking this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm taking this day. But I guess it's more of like a trying to be nice by like requesting it versus telling it. But I don't care. Like, I think you shouldn't be. I don't know. I feel a little bit of a power dynamic. I feel weird sometimes when people like ask me for the,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, like why are you asking me? Just tell me what you're,
Yeah.
when you're off and what,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to tell me what you're doing or whatever. Cause I think about it like, if someone was sick or if someone, they would just take the day. So I'm not
Right.
going to not approve that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
My
yeah.
husband's company has this where, and like theirs is obviously different because they need bodies
Yeah.
to do the work, right?
Yeah.
And so at the beginning in January, everyone on the team has to submit when they want their vacation for the year. And then they have to rank like what is their top priority. Like this week I want is like that's the most
The
important week that
highest.
I get, right? And then there's
Yeah.
still no guarantee that you'll get that week because then it's based on seniority.
Right.
So like our family cottage in the summer, that's the only week he chose because like I don't know what I'm gonna do the rest of the year, but like I need this week.
Right.
And there has been like he's always gotten it, but there's always the risk that he won't get it. And it's like I understand because again, they need bodies to do the job. They have commitments to their customers, so they
Right.
need people to deliver the things, but also like that's when we're going on vacation and you're not going to be there. So either they can plan accordingly or they can deal with it when you call in sick every day because
I was gonna say, like, what
like,
do they do? Like, what happens if he doesn't get approved for
oh, he
that?
just
And
wouldn't
then,
go because he's
yeah,
like
and then he's like, oh, I'm sick this week, and maybe he doesn't even, or maybe he takes like non-paid time off. You know,
right.
like I'm sure to go
Yeah.
on the vacation, he'd even potentially be willing to do that. Like,
Oh, he
you
just
can just
wouldn't go on the
take a week
vacation
off.
because he's such a like golden retriever. He would just be like, okay,
Oh my
guys, I
gosh.
can't come on the family vacation, you know?
But like, what would they do? Like, they couldn't stop him from like taking sick days that week, right?
They
So it's
couldn't,
almost like,
but he'd
well,
have
you
to
might
like,
as well just prepare in advance for like, I'm taking this week off, you know?
yeah. That's what he did when I
Yeah.
came for the team run the clockwork thing. He said, like, listen, I'm not taking vacation days because my wife has a work trip. I'm taking personal days and I'm telling you a
Right.
month in advance that I will be taking personal days. And
Yeah.
they were like, okay. They were kind of like, he was very forceful about it. And they were like,
Good.
okay. But
Yeah.
anyway, this is curious. I knew,
Yeah.
like, I knew where you, but I can always see both sides.
Yeah.
And I think it depends
On
on
the
the
business too.
business.
Like,
If the
yeah.
business needs bodies, then they need people. I don't mean to be so flippant about it, but if it's reliant on having the right amount of people on staff
Mm-hmm.
and you were the last one to put in the request, it's like
Yeah, I get that because they're stuck in a hard
a
place
bind.
too.
It's
Yeah.
like plan ahead. Like like don't book your trip that takes off in 10 days without making
Yeah.
sure you can get it off work first, you know?
Right, right. Yeah,
So
I get that too.
yeah.
No
Okay.
one's done that to me, like been, you know, disrespectful last minute and,
Right.
you know, and then been upset that I didn't approve something. We never had to get into that situation, but I
No.
imagine I would be annoyed if someone like put something in last minute. We had plans for something that was
And it
happening
impacted everyone else,
and it
right?
impacted everyone else or me or the business being
Yeah.
able to move forward. And then they were annoyed that I didn't want to quote unquote approve their
Right.
days. You know, I could
Yeah.
see being annoyed by that as an
Yeah.
employer too.
Never
Thankfully,
black and white. You know, you can
yeah,
see there's always shades of gray to all of these situations. So,
yeah.
okay, let's do the next one.
All right, let me read. Okay. They didn't put a name, so pseudonym Mr. Chapstick, because that's what's sitting next to me.
Perfect.
I'm not to offboard my online business manager who's leaving on Friday. She quit because she feels like she has to constantly prove her monetary worth or justify why she should be paid. I want her to feel good leaving, and I also don't have capacity to ask her why she feels this way, especially because she's leaving, and I feel like that's the bottom line, nothing to work out. Should I iron this out or focus on the handoff, not the emotions behind why she quit? Okay, so she says she quit because she feels like she has to constant, and if this is in a quote, so I'm imagining this person actually said this, right?
Right.
Has to constantly prove her monetary worth or justify why she should be paid.
I can relate to that. As someone with like high functioning anxiety and is an Enneagram 6, like I feel like that's that's my truth, even though it's not put on by anyone else. So I
Uh-huh.
kind of have a little bit of empathy for that team member of feeling like if they are naturally inclined to have similar personality
Proving
traits
energy.
that
Yeah.
I do, then I could see if they're not it. I mean, if I was the CEO of this company, I would want to understand better. Like, is
Yeah.
this something that I'm, but she said
Doing.
I don't have capacity to ask her why she feels this way. Well, then don't, because there's nothing worse than asking a question and then being flippant when you get an answer or being
Right.
dismissive about the answer. If you don't have capacity to ask a question, don't ask it. But I would be curious to know, am I unintentionally creating a culture where people feel this way? And is that something, if I am, is that something that I'm willing to do something about
Different
or
about.
want to
Yeah.
do something about? And if the answer is no,
Right.
then don't ask the question either, you know?
Right. I agree with that 100% because I would be curious, if like why she feels that way and also if I'm doing something to make her feel that way or if I could do something to not make her feel that way all the
Yeah.
time. Like, do I need to provide more recognition? Do I need to tell them they're doing a good job? Like maybe she
Right.
feels she has to prove, or maybe I'm saying something that's doing the opposite, right? Like maybe I'm like why like the justify why she should be paid, like maybe I'm undermining her in some way,
Right.
shape, or form, or communicating that I don't value her
Yeah.
through something I'm saying, or doing. And so I would want to know that because I think that this is, if it's partly because of you, which most situations are a combination, right?
Yeah.
Of your side and their side of how you interact with each other, then this will happen again. And that's
Yeah.
really what we want to avoid and be able to improve ourselves as leaders and as team members is like, because she could probably learn something from this conversation as well, right? Whether it's like asking for what she needs instead of just leaving,
Yeah.
or communicating. So I'm always on the side of let's talk it out. Let's, even if it's not necessarily talking it out so that she stays, but just talking it out so that you can better understand how you can show up for the next person so that you don't
Right.
end up in a similar situation where you're just rotating through team members. And that happens often with small businesses. We think like, oh, they're not a
Yeah.
good fit. They're not this. They don't work hard enough. They don't want this. They la, 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 like all
Yeah.
of their problems. When in actuality, we're just repeating this cycle of how we treat people
Yeah.
that is causing them to leave, or how we don't treat people that is causing them to leave. So
Yeah. I
I
think
think
especially if
I
you're
think
going to
find the emotional capacity to have this conversation is my
yeah.
advice. Like,
Or you're going to have to, or you're going to stay stuck in this cycle if you don't.
yeah. It
I think
feels like
it's,
maybe you're like don't want to deal with it
yeah.
when like this is the stuff you have to deal with as a leader. Like, sorry, this is what you sign up for as a leader of an organization.
Right.
So do what you need to do to create some emotional capacity for this conversation, and you need to have it. So
Yeah. I think especially if you're replacing the role, and I think
yeah,
especially for a role like this, OBM, VA, which are kind of nebulous and like
yeah,
could mean a lot of things, could have a lot of different responsibilities, which could be why this person feels like they're constantly having to show their value because maybe they
right.
don't understand,
Like
maybe their
what it
role
is
is
that
not super
you,
clear.
right, like what are the expectations of them,
Right.
and do they have, and so this is like goes back to our clockwork stuff too, is like, are their role expectations like clearly defined? Are the outcomes clearly defined for them? Because if not, it is going to feel like, am I doing a good job?
Look what I
Like
did.
what
Look
am
what
I,
I did. Yeah. Is
yeah,
this
like look at
enough?
me, like what am I
Yeah.
supposed to be doing? How can I do more? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
So tough
there
love on
might be
that
some
one.
opportunity, even if it's not in the communication, there might be some opportunities to improve in terms of the structure of the role or of the outcomes or of the organization in general. And so that's something that you need to know so that you can improve. So
Yeah.
you gotta be a better leader.
Put that on a
Yikes.
shirt. Okay, let's do our last one for today.
Okay.
Again, no name. don't forget the names, people. So this one is from
It's like your opportunity to come up with a fun name for yourself. Like a stripper name.
Exactly. Trusty
Candy.
Rusty.
We'll call her Candy.
Yeah. Okay, it says, I'm struggling with trust with my new team member. When she came on board, I felt a bit intimidated by her as she's been in the industry a lot longer than me and kind of put down some of my processes saying they're too basic. But now I've realized that she doesn't do some tasks up to the standard we need or fully grasp our clients' needs. So I've started doing these tasks again. However, she does a lot of other tasks that she's really good at and have helped us provide a better service. I also don't know if she is outstanding at the work I give her. I also don't know, outsourcing the work I give her to someone else that's not part of our company. Drama.
Juicy. I would just directly ask her about the outsourcing thing.
Right.
Why do you think that?
Does that matter?
Yeah, does it matter if it's getting done?
It's getting done to your.
If so, if it does matter to you, ask. If not, then who cares?
Especially if it's the work that's getting done really well. Does it matter? If it's the work that's not getting done really well, that would be, I guess, maybe where it matters a little bit more.
And that's where like the conversation with her would probably reveal if that's actually happening without even needing to directly ask, right? Because like, if you're like, oh, like this stuff isn't good, we need to improve that, and they're like, I actually don't do that.
Not doing it. Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
This makes, because of the outsourcing part, it makes me think this is probably like an independent contractor, or because like an employee couldn't be outsourcing their work to someone else. So also, like, if you don't get the vibes, then maybe I don't know. I would, the first part about like, you know, putting me down. I understand imposter syndrome or I feel intimidated by a lot of, or have in the past. I don't so much anymore. I feel intimidated by a lot of peers and colleagues because I just want to be as good as they are. So I understand that feeling. It's only natural, but the like putting down some of your processes because they're too basic, that to me is like a red flag. There's a way to tactfully have those conversations. And so I don't know.
So you could even just communicate how you want to be communicated with, you know, like, hey, instead of saying these things suck, like, can you maybe provide
more
what we could
context
do to make them better? You know, like, here's how this would be framed. That would be a little more tactful for me, because it is like, these were things that I created. And so sometimes it hurts to just hear like that they suck or that they're too basic, but like, that's also why you hired this person, it sounds like.
Exactly.
So I feel like you are being maybe a little bit sensitive to like, imposter syndrome, or feeling like, oh, this person's doing certain things better than, like, didn't you hire them because they did know more than you? And so maybe the processes are too basic, and she's there to improve them, right? But maybe she's saying that in a way that is hurtful. And so you could provide some feedback on that. But I wouldn't be upset that she's providing that feedback, because that's kind of what you're paying her for, it sounds like, is to come in and make things better, because she has that additional expertise that you're looking for. The second piece of like, but now I've realized she doesn't do some things up to the standard or fully grasp our clients' needs, so I've started doing these tasks again. This is a red flag on your side, right? Like, you need to communicate with her, like him or her, like, what are the standards that you have? And is there documentation of that? How can she know what those standards are so that she can perform to those standards? And give her that feedback instead of just taking them back over yourself, because just taking them back over yourself is not helping her grow or helping her get better at her job. It's just keeping you stuck in the middle and creating resentment for her in that role, because now you're like, oh, I hired this person to do these things and they weren't doing a good job, so now I'm doing them again. And it's like, well, what feedback did you give to help them improve? Or did you have really clear documentation of what the standards are? And if not, there's an opportunity to create that so that now she can perform to those standards and give her the feedback she needs to be able to do it as well or even better than you, but you're not even giving her the chance.
An opportunity.
So,
I totally agree. I think these are, again, the theme of these episodes is always like, these are the hard parts of owning a team. Owning a team. That was a terrible choice of words.
I was like, no, I don't own a team.
No, like
owning a business.
Owning a business, leading a team. Thank you. So like these are the things that you can't shy away from, because that's what creates the culture, that why this whole podcast exists. The cultures that suck is because people on both sides are too afraid to have these direct but kind conversations, you know? So
you got to talk to people, you know, and not just like be resentful and hurt, and give people opportunity to improve instead of just like taking things back and thinking like no one else can do this but me, which is like so common, that line of thinking. So like I get it, but you got to move past it.
They can't do it like you if you don't show them how to.
Right. Give them an opportunity to grow, to improve. And those conversations aren't always easy or fun, but they're so necessary, and usually people are like really thankful because it gives them more autonomy and helps them, you know that they're doing a good job versus constantly wondering if they are adding value, right? Like give them an opportunity to like, hey, here's how you could do this better. Oh, great. Like I wanted to do this better, but didn't know how, you know?
And the right people will be receptive to that feedback, and the wrong people will leave because they can't handle the truth, right? Or they can't handle the feedback. Like I wish that we could, I mean, I'm not going to share them because I'm a blubbering mess in every single one of those calls. But like the amount of times Adrian has given me direct feedback of like where to improve, where to focus on. I'm just naturally a crier. It has nothing to do with Adrian's delivery. But if she wasn't giving me that feedback to improve, I wouldn't have improved, and I probably still wouldn't be at the company, because
it's just such a good idea to record one of those conversations.
No.
because it would also help people see like, how do I navigate people's emotions,
disaster on the other end of the call.
Like that it's okay, like that this is also okay to like have emotions, and I know that not everything is going to be well received, but we can still be kind through that. We'll talk about we're not promising that by any means, but
I might need like an emotional support visit to make that happen.
Okay. We do it in person.
In Disney World.
Hug you. Yeah. Okay.
That's those are my parameters.
Let us know if you guys want that, you know,
if the people want it. If this gets 1 million likes,
if this gets 1 million likes on Instagram, then we'll do it.
We'll do a live annual
1 million downloads
in
we'll do
Disney World.
Okay.
We'll
talk about it. We'll see. Once we get the 1 million, we'll do it.
Okay.
It's a good goal for us. When we get 1 million downloads, we will record
Emily's emotional breakdown. Thank you so much.
Or someone else on the team. You know, maybe someone else will volunteer themselves.
Absolutely cannot see one person doing that. I think I'm your best bet. But I would do it.
Tyler review?
Oh my gosh, yes. I would do it. I would do it for demonstration purposes.
$1 million.
I would just try really hard not to cry, which is impossible for me. I cry at everything. Happy tears, sad tears, frustrated tears. Like I'm crying. So,
and leaders should know that like that's okay.
Yeah. Took you about 4 years to be okay with it, but
it's okay.
That's okay. Big emotions.
So maybe I can help shorten the curve for another leader.
Yeah. I like it. Okay.
We'll see.
Next review is not till August, so I'm fine.
We got it. We got some time.
Yeah. All right. That was our show for today.
All right, that was it. We will see you next Tuesday. But if you have a story, if you have
we're begging. We're not begging. That was wrong. We are impelling you to what is wrong with me? Compelling you plead. I don't know what I was trying to say. Compelling and pleading, maybe.
What did you say? Completing?
Impelling.
Impelling.
I don't know what I was trying to say. Imploring.
That's weird. I would have never got there. So
I got there. Yeah.
we're imploring you to please fill us in. Go to dearworkwives.com, submit. And this is the last episode that we're recording, like batching in advance. So if you submit on dearworkwives.com, next week will be a new episode. And every Tuesday after that. So
yeah. And if you have an update, if we've shared your story and you have an update, please also submit that.
Yes, please. We want updates as well.
Okay.
So,
well,
all right. Well,
Adrienne, I will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.